everyone, welcome to the channel. So today's video is a little bit different from what I've been publishing so far. Since I'm a self-taught developer, one of the reasons I actually started this channel was to help others like me to learn how to build websites. And so in this video I will be focusing on the very basics of web programming, and I will be using Netflix's website as an example. But we won't be doing really any coding at all. Just think of this video as a demo to see what technologies are used in web development and how you can actually change a website's appearance the way you like it to be in your browser. So we're gonna do a lot of fun stuff. At the end of the video, I will actually have a very cool trick that you can use when a website that you're visiting is not letting you do what you want to do. So stick around. I have also put the timeline of the video in the description box below, and there will be like a timeline bar. You can choose different sections of the video, whatever that's more interesting to you. You can just jump around. So yeah, that's about it. Let's get started. Alrighty, so every website on the internet has at least two technologies, and most of them actually, maybe like 99% of them, have a third one as well. And I will talk about all of them in this video. Let's get started with HTML. This is the first technology that we're gonna talk about, hypertext markup language. So HTML is the most basic building block of the web, and by the way, I will put the link to all these websites that I'll show throughout this video in the description box below the video, so you can grab the links to all these websites from there. So as I was saying, HTML is the most basic building block of the web. As you can see here, it defines the structure of the web, and other technologies that actually, kind of like spoiler alert here, we will be talking about the CSS and JavaScript as well in this video. But regarding HTML, basically it includes all the elements that you have in a web page. And I think that's enough just about theory. You can go read this page, but let's go back to our example Netflix website. So any website that you open in your browser, you can right click, and you should find an inspect basically button there. I'm using Google Chrome right now. This should be available in other other web browsers like Mozilla Firefox, Safari, and like Microsoft Edge as well. Don't use Internet Explorer. It's just like not good. So normally, like, just Google Chrome is the best to use. So once you right click on a website inside like the page and then click on inspect here, it's gonna open a little panel for you. Depending on the default settings that you have, this panel might like open up at the bottom of the page or left, or like as a separate window. What you can do, you can go to like click on these three dots and this dock side here. That's what allows you to move this panel around. So like dock to bottom, and then like you can do right or left, and then also just as a separate window, as you can see here. So I'm used to having it docked like on this right side, so I'll do that. And since we're talking about HTML, I will be only focusing on the part that's related to HTML. There are like so many tabs that you can see here. Even like if you click on this, there are like so many here. But as we just saw, HTML is about the elements in the page. And sure enough, there is an elements tab here that basically includes all the HTML elements in here. And you can see as I hover over these lines, some stuff start happening on the web page. Basically, all these elements have their own the um, div. We call it like a div element, or it could be a lot of different elements. There is a list of them. It's not like all of them. As you can see, there are also many other HTML elements, but you can see that, for example, like body here, div, those are always over here, div, body. So these are the elements, and then as I hover over these, you can see the corresponding element on the web page as well. There's another way to kind of see the connection between the elements here and this markup over here, and that's clicking on this little cursor icon here. You can click on that, and then you can actually hover over any element on this page, and you can see it's gonna get highlighted. And then if you want to find the corresponding markup over here, you can just click on it. So I'm right here on the sign in, and then I click on it. As you can see, I have this it's called an anchor A tag, and as you can imagine, this is something that you click on and something happens, like you'll go to another page or another website. So that's what it's used for, but we don't want to get into details. What I'm trying to show you here is that you can actually try and find these the words and sentences here on the right side. And if you, for example, the sign up here, you can actually double click on it and change it. So I can actually turn it to sign up. Just double click on the text, then you can type whatever you want, and then click outside, and boom, this is changed, sign up. Obviously you haven't changed the website, so if I refresh this, it's gonna go back in. And what we are doing here is just manipulating the elements in this page on this browser, and only for ourselves. It's not happening on other people's obviously browser. It's just for us on this browser. Even if I open probably, I don't know, Mozilla Firefox or Safari, and go to Netflix, it's still gonna be sign in. It's not gonna be sign up, whatever I'm changing here. And you can do the same thing for other elements. Let's say here, for example, I have this. You can see H1, H2, and this might be familiar for you guys, especially if you worked with Microsoft Word. You have heading 1, heading 2, and that's exactly what's happening here. Heading 1, heading 2. Again, we have these text here. You can see it's kind of the black color, and exactly the same text that you see here. You can again double click here and change it. I am making my own website. So once you do that, you can click outside, and boom, this text is changed. So you can do that for anything. As told you, you can click on this little cursor here and select whatever you want. The text here, I have it. You can change the text. If you don't see it, you might need to click on this little arrow icon here, and there it is, get started, sign up now. So these things, you can technically just change it whatever you want, and this is actually something that all developers do. This is called the developers tool, and here Chrome tool, dev tools, a lot of similar names, and all the developers actually play with these to kind of understand what's happening in the website. And so I'm just trying to show you how cool this all is. So If we scroll down, you see this text here. You can like again select the text. You'll see it over here again. Like you might need to click on these arrows, and you can start changing stuff. You can click on this element here, and as you see, this has an image. And then as you like hover over the other elements here, hey, you can see this is also looks like something that's on this. And then you see a video here. Images and videos, it's like self-explanatory. This is an image, this is a video. You might have thought this is, oh, this looks like a video, but in fact, if you look at this here, this image has a source. So if you double click on it, or you just like hover it, you can see like the image. But like if you double click on the source, you can actually copy it and open it like in another page. And then this is an actual like the image that they're using. So in fact, this is an image and they have another video in there. So you can do the same with this video here. Copy it and then open it over here. So that's the video, you have it right here. I'll tell you like that little trick that I told you about at the beginning of this video. It's actually related to what I just showed you right now, but we'll get to that soon. Alright, so as you can see, this section under elements, we have all the elements that are used to build this website, and you can just like do this in any website. You'll have like these kind of like frequently asked questions, kind of accordion type of things they're called. And one thing that I want you to take a look at, when I open this one, you can see like things change here. Like there is this div element, and then there's a class here. If I close it, it changes to closed. So you can assign classes to any of these elements, and that will enable you to target them more easily. So for example, you can see here like I have all these divs, and then what if I want to do something with this div, like and when I say something, for example, we get to this again, like if I want to change the color of this thing, like this red color, or if I want to change the font. So there is it makes it much easier to target and select that specific div if like we assign classes to them. There is also ID that you can assign. There are differences, but I don't want to get into that. That's not in the scope of this video. But again, keep in mind that we can assign classes to each of these div elements, and then that will make it easier to target it. So again, here you can select this guy over here. If you don't see the text immediately, you might need to open like this arrow here, and you can like double click and make just like change the whole thing, or just delete the whole thing. Netflix, there you go. So that's how we can like inspect the web page, as it was called, like as you right click, inspect the page, and see what elements are being used in this page. Okay, let's move on. The other common technology that's used in building websites is CSS. CSS is basically used to manipulate the website's appearance and presentation. It's short for cascading style sheets, and you can basically use CSS to style your web page. And again, back to our Netflix website, you have noticed as I click on different element, there is this tab, like this bottom section here. Things keep changing there. If you look closely, there is the tab's name is actually styles, and that's where you can see all the CSS related stuff, styling related stuff for this page. So let's go ahead and select, for example, this sign in here. So as we saw with HTML stuff, you can like change it up here. You can do sign up here, click outside, now it's sign up. And then the one thing that we briefly talked about was classes. So as you can see here, I have this auth links red button here. And if you look down here in the styles, you can actually see that I have like dot auth links dot red button. So this dot, again, I don't want to get into details, but that's how you target a class. As I said in the previous topic about HTML stuff, classes help you to target those elements more easily. And so this is how we target the element. And sure enough, you can see here I have background color of red. Similar to what we did up here with the elements, you can actually manipulate these um, styling properties as well. So let's say you want to see how this website looks like with a blue color. One way you can do it is just like double click on it and type blue here. Okay, and there you go. This is blue now. The other easier way is to just click on this little like preview, color preview here, and it's gonna actually bring up a color picker for you, so you can like change the color here. You can try to see, oh, as you change how this looks like. And that's how a lot of designers actually can test their designs, the look of the website, and you can get like an actual color here, and then your developer will assign the colors to different elements. And then we have line height, padding, and margins are also two concepts in styling. Margin is like the space, these like spaces between two elements. Padding is like some spacing inside the element. You can obviously change these as well. As you hover over these numbers, the cursor changes to this like little two-way arrow thing. You can like hold like the mouse key and then drag to right and left, and look what's happening. I'm increasing and decreasing some padding there. And you can also click on this, for example, and change it to like 250. And the pixel here is basically like the pixels that is the unit that we use for margins and paddings and all that. And as you saw here, we changed paddings in the like Y direction, vertical, and you probably guessed it. If you change this like number, the next one it's gonna be horizontal, so you can do like 40. Or you can just like put this like little cursor thing here and use the up and down arrows, and you can like increase or decrease it. Or as I mentioned earlier, just hover over and then drag right and left. See, and yeah, so now we're like totally messing up this Netflix website, but it's good. That's like how I really got into web development. It's really cool, and I hope you guys are also enjoying it. Things that you can do without like knowing any coding. Of course, again, if you refresh this, all the changes are gonna go away, but it's just cool, just like making it the way you want it to look like. And then if you like to use this selector here and hover over like a text or something, for example here, you can see actually the little info window that appears on top. It shows you a lot of things, like you have the color, you have font there, margins. As I talked, like margin is the space between elements, and that's normally like the orange color that you see there. That's the 8 pixel margin at the bottom. And then like here we have the top and bottom margins. You can see 19 and a half, 6.5 pixel, and this whole set element here we have like a padding, and then padding is gonna be like a different color than margin. It's like greenish here. And so you can change all these things. If you like, click on this one here, enjoy your TV. I just selected it with the selector here, enjoy your TV. And then I can go down here. As you can see here, I have that class of our story card title. And if I go down to font size here, I can actually start kind of like making it bigger. You can again click here and then use up and down arrows. You see, like I'm clicking the up arrow and make it bigger and bigger, and I can make it smaller. Don't worry about the unit TMR here, REM. That's fine. It's like kind of related to the size of the screen, so you can like make them big and small font size. You can change the margin, again, like the space between these two elements. And you might notice that when I did that, this one also changed. And that's another beauty of using classes. So remember, I had this class our story card title here. If I go and inspect this guy over here, sure enough, you'll see that also has the same class, our story card title. So it really helps when you use the same class on different divs. If you change one, since you want to have that consistency in your website, just changing one styling for that one element, since we applied that change to the class, remember this dot here, we changed the stuff inside this class name here, it was applied to all the elements with that class. Now there's a difference between class and ID, and you don't need to worry about it. Class, you can assign one class to different, like multiple elements, but IDs need to be unique. So if, for example, you didn't want to change this one, you can like assign it like an ID or a different class name, and then apply it different styling to this one. And then again, we have like these background colors here, like this background you can change over here, and all these things. So basically this styles section here, as you select different elements in the page, you can see different styling that's applied to that specific element or other elements with that class name in here. So that's about CSS. Let's move on to the next section. The third technology that almost all websites use is JavaScript. And again, as we saw before, JavaScript basically takes care of the functionality and behavior of the website. And there's this link I'll share with you guys that you can take a look. But in simple words, if you have any kind of like animations or any interactions on your website, JavaScript is probably included in that website. And by interactions, I mean like, for example, you might have like a hover effect or things coming in, going out of the screen. And you could do some of those things with CSS, but some things like you can't really do with CSS and you have to use JavaScript. And so technically you can just have a website that only has HTML, not even CSS. But like today, I don't think you'll find anything, because you need to style your website. And if I didn't have any CSS for this website, everything was gonna be like stacked next to each other or like below each other, and there wouldn't be really a good website that people would want to like spend time on. Like the user experience wouldn't be as good. And same goes for JavaScript. You can have a website without JavaScript, but if you want to have some interactions, animations, even sometimes things like clicking on stuff like this, frequently asked questions, All these things might use JavaScript just to make it simpler. And so for JavaScript, I don't really want to go into details because that gets a little bit of um, complicated, not too hard, but like, of course, we are not doing any coding right now. And in terms of JavaScript, like, we have this console here that will show you actually like some of the, you can see some errors here. Most of these are definitely like not really a problem, otherwise you wouldn't see them. But sometimes when you're developing website under this console tab, you will see some JavaScript related errors here. And speaking of this console tab is actually sometimes really helpful. You can do like a lot of things here unrelated to websites also. For example, you can do mathematical equate like operations here. 2 plus 2, it's 4. So this console is actually, so this is like where you do a lot of JavaScript stuff. And JavaScript obviously could take care of mathematics and all those things as well. There are things about like defining variables, constants. You can actually do it here. For example, just to keep it simple, I'll do like var a equal to 2 here, and then I will say a. You can see, like, just click enter, and this is 2. Now I can say var c is equal to a plus 2, and then I'll do c here. You can see c is 4. So these are the things that you would take care in your JavaScript file. And again, a lot of animations and interactions are also part of your JavaScript file. The ones that doing it with like CSS is not that easy. So for example, if I make this sign up margin a little bit smaller, maybe you can see like this hover effect here. You can either both CSS for this or like JavaScript. This one is not too complicated. You're just changing probably the opacity of this like red color. But like if it's complicated, you might be using like some JavaScript code for that. So that's about JavaScript. That wraps up the 3 main technologies that I wanted to talk to you about: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have another cool thing that I want to show you. Now that you know all these things, I want to basically show you how you can make a website do something that it really doesn't want you to do, but you can go to the dev tools and make a change and make it do what you want to do. So let's get to that. All right, I'm really excited about this one. So the motivation behind this is just like I want to show you what kind of cool things you can do, kind of like actually motivate you more to get into web development and try to learn stuff. So this is basically from a YouTube ad that I clicked on it, and I just like got an email to join us like this live kind of webinar. And so I was very curious when I actually did join the live room, and I saw this like start a broadcast. This kind of was a little bit strange, and it didn't look like really a live session. I mean, I saw the time and like the number of people increasing. And by the way, I don't know this dude. I don't really am not trying to advertise for him, or like I don't have anything against him. This is just an example. So I was trying to see like I couldn't see any, obviously, like the video controls here. And as a developer, first thing that came in mind obviously was to right click here and go to inspect. And so I did it, and seems like, yeah, the time is changing. I inspected the page, and then like the numbers every now and then it seems like it's changing. But obviously all this can be a JavaScript code that can change the number, the time. Obviously it's just kind of like related to the video. And so one thing that I wanted to see was this video. Is it pre-recorded, or is it just really live? And so what I did was I inspected it, and sure enough I found this video. And if you're familiar with HTML tags, obviously you might not be at this point, but there is a property for this video tag, and that's called controls. And that basically shows you the little like the play button, the rest of it here. And as you can see, that's missing here. So we've talked about how to make changes to existing properties, values here, but we haven't talked about adding things to it, and now we need to add that controls here. This is very simple too. You just click on these three dots here, edit as HTML, and then it allows you to edit the whole thing. So you can just click over here and space type controls. You can see like in a suggestion here, click on it, click outside, and boom, you actually do see this right now here. And it's clearly pre-recorded, it's not live. And you can see it's like 2 hours 37 minutes. Right now you can't really play it, and that's a CSS thing. There is probably like you can actually go deeper and check out other elements here, but there might be like an overlay element there, and there's an easy way to bypass that. Kinda, you can do a z-index. And again, you guys probably don't know these things, but z-index basically moves the elements towards like inside or outside the screen, like kind of closer to you or further from you. And if you give like a very high number, it puts this element that you're assigning the z-index to on top of all the other elements. And now once we do that, that's, by the way, how you can add new styles to this thing. In addition to like changing these values, you can also like click on the next line and start adding stuff too. And with this z-index now, I can actually hover and see I can play it. Now I can't really like drag this thing or stop it, but well, right now it's stopped, but like probably if I drag it again it starts. I can like go like drag it over here or things like that. But now I have an option here to download this video. I can download it, and then I can do whatever I want. Or if I just want to watch it here, I can change the playback speed. So the reason I wanted to show you this is because as you start getting into web development, you always like are thinking about different elements in the page. From now on, I'm pretty sure all you guys are just gonna start inspecting every web page you go to, and that's a good thing. Just see if you like it. Then of course there is more that you guys need to learn. Thanks a lot everyone for sticking around and watch this whole video. I hope I motivated you guys to want to know more about web development. And if you found this video helpful, please make sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. If you want me to talk about specific topics or have more beginner friendly videos, definitely drop a comment in the comment box below this video. Share the video with other people who you think may be interested, and kind of motivate them to join you in this journey. And if you don't like coding, of course there are other ways you can build websites. Check out the description box below this video for my brand new course on Webflow, which is a no-code platform where I teach you how you can build amazing websites without any need to code or just very limited code. Again, thanks a lot, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video.